The story is from Japan, an incident that has become one of the biggest wounds for the police there. This story is so unique and interesting that, after hearing it, you will never be able to forget it. The Japanese police are counted among the most advanced and fast police forces in the world. It is said that no criminal can escape their eyes. Japan's conviction rate and case-solving rate are also extremely high. Yet, despite such a capable police force, there is a case in their history that to this day they have not been able to solve. This case is known as case number 114, and the mystery of this case still beats like regret in the hearts of the Japanese police. This event became such a painful memory for the Japanese police that it affected their reputation. Because of this failure, the police faced humiliation, and the situation became so severe that one police officer even set himself on fire. This incident has become a deep wound in the history of the Japanese police. This case is also known as Test of F and Morinaga, but throughout the world it is famously called the monster with 21 faces, as terrifying as a demon with 21 faces. This story is connected to a famous Japanese company, which used to make food products like candy and chocolate. This company was extremely popular, and people loved the taste of its products. The story begins on March 18, 1984, when the owner of this Glyco company, whose candy was distributed all over the country, had his house broken into by two masked men. That night began a dark chapter in Japanese history, which, even today, is a symbol of mystery and fear. Two masked men, one holding a pistol, the other a rifle, entered the house. The house was divided into two parts. In one, the company owner lived with his wife and children. In the other, his mother lived. These masked men had already obtained a stolen key, which they used to open the first door to the house. As soon as they entered, they first saw the 70-year-old elderly woman who was the company owner's mother. They quickly caught her, showed her the pistol, and after intimidating her, tied her up with the telephone wire. To stifle her voice, they taped her mouth as well. Then, they went to the part of the house where the owner's wife lived. As soon as they opened the second door, they saw a young woman facing them. They caught her too, threatened her with the rifle, and started to tie her with the telephone wire. They also taped her mouth. A terrified wife pleaded with them, "Take whatever you want, just don't hurt us." She thought the robbers came for money, but one of them replied, "We don't want money, we want something else." The masked men taped both women's mouths shut and tied them with the telephone wire. After that, they began searching the house for something specific. During their search, they reached the bathroom. Opening the door, they saw the company owner hiding with his young children in the bathtub. The owner wasn't wearing any clothes. Immediately, they took him at gunpoint and demanded he come with them. They forced him out of the bathroom and loaded him, naked, into the back seat of a car outside the house, then drove to a secret hideout. There, they took the owner into a large room, tied him up tightly, and left him in a deserted place. By night, the news spread like wildfire that the Glyco company owner had been kidnapped. When the police found out, they rushed to the scene. The owner's mother was still tied up and was freed by the police. This incident caused panic throughout the company since their most important person had been abducted. The police immediately started their investigation, but the case was complicated and full of mystery. The next day, March 19th, the company's second-in-command received a message stating that in order to save the owner, who was in their custody, the company needed to pay 1 billion Japanese yen and 21 kilograms of gold by March 24th. If this amount was not paid, the company owner would be killed. At that time, 1 billion yen and 21 kilograms of gold was an enormous sum. As soon as the demand was received, panic erupted in the company, and the police were immediately informed. The police sealed off the city and began their search. This was a major case since the kidnapped person was an important figure, the owner of a large company, and the crime had occurred in a safe country like Japan. The police increased vigilance throughout the city, set up roadblocks everywhere, and checked vehicles. Many suspects were detained, but there were no concrete results. March 24th arrived, and both the police and the company were under immense pressure. But that night, something unexpected happened. The kidnapped owner managed to escape from the unknown deserted location where he had been held captive. He was extremely frightened and at every step feared that someone would be following him or might kill him. Finally, he managed to get to safety. However, this incident became both a big challenge and a reason for embarrassment for the Japanese police. The owner reached his home, and the police were immediately informed. His security was increased, and his bravery became the talk of the town. The news amazed everyone. He had managed to escape from the clutches of the kidnappers and, without paying a ransom, returned safely. But the story didn't end there. The very next day, in the factory as people went about their daily work and the trucks were being loaded, a strange incident occurred. A container sent to the factory surprised everyone. When the container was opened, it was filled with hydrochloric acid. No one understood what the purpose of this container was, or why it had been sent. Fortunately, the police were called in time, and the whole factory was evacuated. This alertness helped avoid another tragedy. This event made the kidnapping even more terrifying, because it was now clear the kidnappers were not just playing for ransom, but had more destructive intentions. As the owner had managed to escape, both the police and the company tried to piece together everything that had happened. They struggled to understand why the kidnappers didn't pursue the fleeing owner, and how he escaped so easily, but there were no clear answers, and the situation remained mysterious. March ended, and slowly people started to forget about the kidnapping. After the deadline of March 21st, no major incident occurred, and it seemed things had settled down. But 15 days later, on April 8, 1984, the Japanese police received an anonymous letter. It began with insults. To the foolish Japanese police. Just reading the first line made the officers anxious. The letter mocked them and called them fools, further exposing the police force's failure. The content stunned the inspectors. The events of 1984 forced police into deep self-reflection, since they couldn't understand the kidnappers' motives or why they had done all of this. What was written in the letter was hard for anyone to digest, as the criminals openly mocked the police. To the stupid Japanese police, are you crazy? What are you doing on this earth? If you are really professionals, try to catch me. Catching me is difficult, but I will give you some hints. The letter went on to say, I'm not an employee of this company, nor a laborer in the fields, so don't look for me in the company or among the field workers. I am also not a relative or a helpless person, so don't bother searching there either. The letter then taunted, now I'll give you another hint. The car I used was gray. I bought my food from a store called Digester. If you want any more information, beg the newspaper reporters. At the end, the letter mocked the police. If you catch me, I'll admit you did something. If not, you're just tax thieves living off citizens' tax money. This letter became a significant challenge for the police. The kidnapper not only ridiculed their efforts, but made it clear that he was a step ahead of them. The matter now became even more complicated for the authorities, and heavy pressure weighed on them. The letter continued with another jab. If you can't catch me, you're only tax thieves. Can I come to police headquarters and kidnap one of your officers? This challenging statement was signed, The Monster with 21 Faces. This letter was sent to the police on April 8, 1984, 15 days after the Glyco company owner's kidnapping. The letter directly challenged the police, taunting them to catch the culprits if they could. After this letter, the police began thorough investigations across Osaka and all surrounding areas for every gray car. They also scrutinized all store customers, particularly those who might have shopped at the relevant time. The police left no stone unturned in searching for clues. However, the matter now became even more challenging. The kidnapper kept outmaneuvering police, and the letter only deepened the humiliation. The Japanese police checked thousands of gray cars, detained suspects, but still found no solid leads. Meanwhile, just the phrase, to the foolish Japanese police, in the first line of the anonymous letter, was enough to hurt the police's reputation and cast doubt on the entire force. The situation worsened when the letter was leaked to the media and appeared in newspapers. Now, the kidnapping case was not just a crime, it had become a symbol of police failure. Many people started to think that maybe the owner himself had staged the kidnapping, as the real kidnappers couldn't have been so careless as to let him escape. Suspicion grew because the kidnappers neither claimed the demanded ransom nor received the gold. Intense pressure was on the police because the kidnappers were openly humiliating their reputation. They interrogated many people and caught several suspects, but still, there were no clues. After the threatening letter of April 8th, exactly a month and 2 days later, on May 10th, the police received yet another letter. This letter was not just sent to the police, but also to another company. It deeply troubled the police and shocked the entire nation. The kidnapper once again repeated the challenge, and now the police were more confused than ever about what this was all about and what the real motive could be. The other company was Morinaga, a major chocolate and candy maker in Japan. On May 10, 1984, Morinaga received a threatening letter. It read, I have mixed potassium cyanide into your company's products and have put them in various stores. Whoever eats them will certainly die, and your company will be held responsible. This letter created panic all over Japan. A similar threatening letter had previously been sent to Glyco, but at that time the police were still trying to understand why the kidnappers hadn't taken the ransom and what their true intention was. The police had no solid clues, and now the same threat was sent to Morinaga. The latest letter shook up both the police and the public. The letter explicitly stated that candy and chocolate had been poisoned and that these products were available in different stores throughout Japan. As soon as this threat was received, the entire country went into an uproar. All Morinaga products were immediately ordered off store shelves, and the police launched a massive effort to find and destroy any possible poisoned goods. This incident shocked not just the police, but the whole of Japan, and it was now clear that the kidnapper or criminal was after more than just money. Their intentions were far more dangerous. The new letter made the situation even graver, as now thousands of innocent people's lives were at risk. The letter did not specify which variety of candy had been poisoned, making the situation even more horrifying, because every Glyco candy became suspect. The company was forced to recall all their products from every store in Japan to prevent any deaths. If the letter's threats were true, the company took immediate action to remove their products from stores. However, this action inflicted major financial losses on the company. About 130 million yen in losses resulted from the anonymous letter alone, damaging the company's reputation and profits. After this, for a few months things quieted down, but during this time, several smaller companies also received similar threatening letters. Each letter ended with the same signature: the monster with 21 faces. These letters created panic and uncertainty across Japan, and made it clear this was not the work of a single person, but part of a larger conspiracy. Glico was already in serious trouble. The threat of poisoned candy, the fear among customers, and the events after the owner's kidnapping had shaken the company to its core. But just as things started to settle, another letter arrived. In this new letter, the criminals wrote that Glico was now ashamed and they had suffered enough, that their goal had been to harass the company, and they had succeeded, and so they would not trouble Glico any longer. This letter brought some relief but also raised suspicions about whether this was just another trick. With time, it became clear that the kidnappers or threat makers truly did stop harassing Glico, as the company received no further threats or trouble. However, this peace did not last long. In November, just as everything seemed normal, another letter appeared and once again put everyone on alert. The situation was surrounded by a sense of unknown danger. No one knew who the next target would be, which company or individual would be threatened or attacked. This new letter was sent to both Morinaga and the police, and addressed to the president of Morinaga in the same way as the earlier threats to Glico. On November 1st, 1994, should be 1984, the kidnapper threatened the Morinaga president, saying, "You have already seen our power, as happened in the Glico case. If you don't listen to us, I'll destroy your company and you'll just watch helplessly. Now it's up to you. Will you pay us, or will you watch your company go under?" The demand was clear. "I want 200 million yen, and you must announce in the newspaper on the 5th or 6th that you agree to pay." As always, the letter was signed, "The Monster with 21 Faces." After this threat, Morinaga tightened its security further. Company officials and employees were terrified because they knew the threats were not empty. Remembering earlier events, the company immediately strengthened its security and did everything they could in cooperation with police. The kidnappers were once again trying to trap a major Japanese company, and Morinaga's officials realized they were caught in a dangerous game where one wrong step could ruin their entire business. The Japanese police had already increased Morinaga's security, but soon another threatening letter arrived. This time, the kidnapper claimed to have poisoned the company's candies. "I have mixed poison flavor into 10 boxes, and anyone who eats them will die." They also said that a special letter would be inside the poisoned candy boxes as proof. After this threat, Morinaga again had to recall all its candy products from the market. The police quickly started searching all the suspicious boxes, reviewed CCTV footage, and at one place, they saw a suspicious person opening boxes and putting something inside. Based on this footage, police created a sketch of the person, but this did not help. When they searched the suspicious boxes, one did indeed contain a letter, just as the kidnapper had claimed. That letter read, "This candy will be a little bitter, do not use it." When these boxes were sent for forensic testing, they did indeed find poison in some candies. This incident made things even more difficult for Japanese police, as they still could not catch the kidnapper. Meanwhile, public trust in Morinaga weakened, and their financial outlook got worse. People's confidence was shattered, and the company's reputation suffered. This shameful case raised serious questions for both Japanese police and Morinaga. leaving the whole country shaken. Time slowly passed, but the Japanese police came under ever-increasing pressure. Their failures became a subject of ridicule in the media and newspapers, as this unknown kidnapper kept challenging them, calling them fools in letters and causing heavy losses to companies. Despite everything, the police were unable to catch him. This was turning into the greatest challenge for the Japanese police, and they threw everything they had at it. Police interrogated nearly 125,000 citizens of Japan, North Koreans, anyone even remotely suspicious, but even after such a large-scale investigation, nothing concrete was found. They received many tips, but none proved useful, and they found no solid leads. The one most affected was senior Japanese police officer Shoji Yamamoto. He was completely dedicated to solving this case and made it a matter of personal honor. He was determined to restore the reputation of the Japanese police at any cost. But as failures mounted and no results emerged, he began to break down. Finally, on August 7, 1985, Shoji Yamamoto poured kerosene on himself and set himself on fire, ending his life. His tragic death shocked the entire country, and this event symbolized how the case destroyed not just the reputation of companies and police, but also ruined people's lives at a personal level. When news of Shoji Yamamoto's tragic suicide appeared in the newspapers, it was a tremendous shock for the Japanese people. The fact that a senior police officer had died because of this shook the entire nation. After this, another letter from the monster with 21 faces arrived. "We are saddened by the death of the police officer, and our condolences are with his family." The letter continued, "We have decided that we will no longer torture food companies, or bother or harass them. If today or later anyone uses our name to blackmail, demand ransom, or send a threat letter, know that it's an imitation and not us." This letter came in August 1985, in which the criminals paid tribute to Yamamoto and announced that they would no longer bother food companies. However, at the end of the letter, they made a shocking admission. "We are bad people, and we enjoy doing such things. If we find fun in doing something bad, what's wrong with that?" The letter was not only their announcement to end activities, but also a kind of self-examination in which they admitted their wickedness and tried to justify it. After this, the monster with 21 faces really did stop their activities, and the case remained an unsolved mystery in the history of Japan. This case is still remembered in Japan, and according to reports, the gang never actually killed anyone with poison or took any ransom. Their actions created a unique atmosphere in the city. No money was ever exchanged, and no lives were taken. But for 17 months, companies were harassed, and the police faced an enormous challenge they could not solve. Even after 38 years, this case remains unsolved in Japan. The mystery persists over who the mastermind really was that pulled off such a massive crime. Friends, if you like this crime story, please like, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. For more interesting crime stories, press the bell icon so you get updates first. Thank you.